The path as the holy life. Bhikkhus, you should wander forth for the welfare and happiness of the many folk, for the compassionate assistance of the world, and for the well-being, support and happiness of gods and human beings. You should proclaim the Dhamma, you should make known the holy life. The holy life, the holy life. What now, friend, is the holy life? And who is a follower of the holy life? And what is the final goal of the holy life? This Noble Eightfold Path is the holy life, that is, right view, right concentration. One who possesses this Noble Eightfold Path is called a lover of the holy life. The end of lust, the end of hatred, the end of delusion. This is the final goal of the holy life. What is the fruit of the holy life? The fruit of stream entry, the fruit of once returning, the fruit of non-returning, the fruit of arahantship. This is the fruit of the holy life. So this holy life, monks, does not have gain, honour and renown as its blessing, or the perfection of virtue as its blessing, or the attainment of concentration as its blessing, or knowledge and vision as its blessing, but it is this unshakable deliverance of mind that is the goal of the holy life, its heartroot and its end. The term brahmacharya is generally understood in a very narrow sense, as living a renunciant life and the abstention from sexual intercourse, which is only one meaning of this term. In fact, the Buddha used this term to refer to the entire system of living life according to Buddhist principles, or to Buddhism itself. This is evident from the passages in which the Buddha sends forth his disciples in order to proclaim the holy life, and also in the passage in which he states that the holy life will truly flourish when members of the four assemblies, the bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, laymen and laywomen, both renunciants, brahmachari, and householders, kamabhogi, those who enjoy sense pleasures, those who have families, understand and practice the Dhamma well. Brahmacharya is comprised of the terms Brahma and Charya. Brahma means excellent, superior, supreme, pure. Charya is derived from the root chara, which in a concrete sense means to travel, to proceed, to wander, and in an abstract sense it means behavior, to lead one's life, to conduct one's life, to exist. Here we are interested in the figurative or abstract sense. Note that occasionally brahmacharya is written as brahmacharya. As a compounded word, brahmacharya thus means excellent conduct, excellent behavior, pure, divine conduct, conduct resembling that of the Brahma gods, leading one's life in an excellent way, living an excellent way, or an excellent life. The term Charya Dhamma is a newly established word in the Thai language, although in the Pali word Charya occurs on its own. There is no contradiction to add the word Dhamma. Charya Dhamma here means upright conduct, virtuous conduct, or basis of conduct. It refers to principles of behavior, or principles of conducting one's life. Here I will not discuss the wider academic notions of the term Charya Dhamma, but focus simply on its Buddhist connotations. Adopting this new term, one can define brahmacharya as excellent virtuous conduct, excellent Charya Dhamma. This excellent conduct or supreme Brahma conduct refers specifically to the system of conduct revealed and proclaimed by the Buddha. According to the Buddha's words quoted above, the holy life, excellent conduct, or Buddhist conduct, is equivalent to the path, Magga, or to the middle way, Majjhima Patipada. Likewise, one who practices the holy life, Brahmachari, one whose conduct conforms to Buddhist principles, lives according to the path or practices in line with the middle way. The Buddhist teachings state that the path, the middle way, is a system of conduct, a system of practical application, a guideline for living a virtuous life, or a way for people to lead their lives correctly, which leads to the goal of freedom from suffering. The following points provide a summary of Brahmacharya, the holy life, excellent conduct. The following points provide a summary of Brahmacharya, the holy life, excellent conduct, or conduct conforming to the middle way of practice. Virtuous conduct is connected to truth inherent in nature. It is based on natural laws. It is a matter of applying knowledge about natural causal process in order to benefit human beings by establishing a system of practice or a code of conduct which is effective and in harmony with these laws. This harmony with nature can be viewed from two perspectives. First is to focus on the source, that is, to see that virtuous conduct is determined by natural truth. Second is to focus on the goal, to recognize the purpose and objective for such conduct. One practices the holy life in order to benefit oneself and all of humanity, to lead a virtuous life, to foster goodness in society, to lead to the welfare and happiness of all people. In relation to society, for example, by wishing for people to live together peacefully, one advocates and establishes principles of behavior, say on how to interact with others or how to act in relation to one's natural environment. These principles are established according to the truth of human nature, which has certain requirements and attributes dependent on other people and on the environment. In terms of individuals, by wishing for people to be peaceful, bright, happy, and mentally healthy, one teaches them how to control and direct their thoughts and how to purify their minds. These methods of generating well-being are established according to the universal nature of the human mind, which is subject to causal, immaterial laws inherent in nature. Wishing for people to experience the refined happiness of jhana and the highest levels of insight, one teaches them to train the mind, to reflect, to relate to things properly, and to develop various stages of wisdom. These methods of higher spiritual practice are established according to the laws governing the functioning of the mind and the laws of conditioned phenomena. The term Charya Dhamma, which is a synonym for Brahmacharya, encompasses all of these kinds of spiritual practice, which can be divided into many different levels or stages. Charya Dhamma can be defined as applying an understanding of reality to establish wholesome ways of living so that people can realize the highest forms of well-being. Brahmacharya, excellent conduct, the path or the middle way, is equivalent to the entire practical teachings of Buddhism. This term has a much broader definition than the Thai term Sila Dhamma, morality, ethical behavior. Sila Dhamma has a narrower meaning. In regard to its general characteristics, subject matter, and objective. Generally speaking, Sila Dhamma refers to external behavior by way of body and speech, to non-harming, to abstaining from bad actions, and to mutual assistance in society. In terms of its content or subject matter, This latter term tends to be limited to moral conduct, sila, to restraint of body and speech, and to expressions of the divine abidings, for instance, loving kindness and compassion. Although it is connected to the mind, it does not include the development of concentration or the cultivation of wisdom in order to realize the truth of conditioned phenomena. As to its objective, it emphasizes social well-being, peaceful coexistence, worldly progress, say in terms of material gain, reputation and prestige, and being reborn in a happy realm. In short, it is linked to human and divine prosperity, sampati, to mundane welfare, dita dhammikata, and to the beginning stages of spiritual welfare, samparayikata. Here we see that sila dhamma is equivalent to sila. The term dhamma is added simply for the sake of euphony. In Thailand, the term Charya Dhamma still causes confusion for people. Some people understand this term as equivalent to Sila Dhamma, to general morality, while others bestow on it an academic or philosophical connotation. I will not go into these various definitions here. Suffice it to say that similar to the term Sila Dhamma, which is equivalent to Sila, Charya Dhamma is equivalent to Charya, conduct, behavior. The suffix Dhamma does not alter its meaning. The term Charya Dhamma encompasses the entirety of Dhamma practice, beginning with basic moral conduct. The following factors are included in the principle of Charya Dhamma: moral conduct, developing good family relationships, social harmony, observing precepts in a monastery as a layperson, keeping the duties of a renunciant, samana dhamma, in the forest, gladdening the mind, fostering mental health, mental training, meditation, insight practice, etc. As stated above, the term brahmacharya, which contains the term charya, refers to the path or to the middle way, but it emphasizes behavior or the way in which one leads one's life. In essence, the term brahmacharya refers to a system of conducting one's life with virtue, or to the entire system of Dhamma practice in Buddhism, and it thus incorporates the term Sila Dhamma as used in the Thai language. It also includes the training of the mind, the instilling of virtue, and the development of knowledge and vision, jnana dasana, which is an aspect of higher wisdom. In sum, brahmacharya refers to a means of cultivating virtue by way of body, speech and mind from the perspective of the threefold training. It is the complete training in moral conduct, sila, concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, panya. The goal of this excellent conduct is to realize every stage of Buddhist spiritual practice until one has reached the highest goal of the holy life, brahmacharya pariyosana, the end of greed, hatred, and delusion. The realization of true knowledge, vidya, liberation, vimutti, purity, visuddhi, and peace, santi, i.e. nibbana. For brevity's sake, brahmacharya is translated here as the holy life, or as living an excellent life. Excellent conduct is not something that can be formulated simply by the whims of influential people, or by the consensus of a group or community, and it is not something that should be followed blindly. Establishing true excellent conduct and having such conduct bear fruit is dependent on knowledge of reality. G. The path as a way of achieving life objectives. Your Majesty, I told the Bhikkhu Ananda, having good friends, having good companions, and a delight in associating with virtuous people is equivalent to the entire holy life. When a monk has a good friend, it is to be expected that he will develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path. Therefore, great king, you should train yourselves thus. I will be one who has good friends, who has good companions, and who delights in associating with virtuous people. When, great king, you have good friends, you should dwell by applying this vital principle, heedfulness in respect to wholesome states. When you are heedful and dwelling diligent, your retinue of harem women, your nobles and royal entourage, your soldiers, and even the townspeople and villagers will think thus. The king is heedful and dwells diligently. Come now, let us also be heedful and dwell diligently. When, great king, you are heedful and dwelling diligently, you yourself will be guarded and protected. Your retinue of harem women will be guarded and protected. Your treasury and storehouse will be guarded and protected. One who desires great burgeoning riches should take great care. The wise praise diligence in performing meritorious deeds. The wise are heedful and thus secure both kinds of good, atta, the good visible in this very life, and the good of the future. The wise person, by attaining the good, is called a sage. The term atta, good, can also be translated as substance, meaning, objective, benefit, target, or goal. In this context, it means the true purpose or goal of life, referring to the goal of the holy life or the goal of Buddhism. Most people know that the highest goal of Buddhism is Nibbana, for which there exists the epithet Paramatta, meaning supreme good or supreme goal. It is normal that when teaching Dhamma there is great emphasis on practicing in order to reach the highest goal. Buddhism, however, does not overlook the secondary benefits or goals which people may realize according to their individual level of spiritual maturity, and these benefits are often clearly defined, as evident in the passage above. As far as I can ascertain, the older text divides spiritual good, atta, into two categories, as seen in the passage above. 1. Ditta Dhammi Kata, initial benefits, present good, good in this lifetime. 2. Samparayi Kata, profound benefits, future good, higher good. In this case, the supreme good, Paramatta, is included in the second factor of higher good, Samparayikata. It is the apex of this second form of spiritual benefit. The authors of later texts, however, wished to give special emphasis to the supreme good, and thus distinguished it as a separate factor, resulting in 3 levels of spiritual benefit or spiritual goals. 1. Ditta Dhammi Kata, present good, good in this lifetime, visible benefits. This refers to basic or immediate goals, to obvious everyday benefits. It pertains to external or ordinary mundane aims and aspirations like material gain, wealth, prestige, pleasure, praise, social status, friendship, and a happy married life. It also includes a righteous search for these things, a correct relationship to them, the use of these things in a way that brings happiness to oneself and others, communal harmony, and the fulfillment of one's social responsibilities, which lead to communal well-being. 2. Samparayikata, future good, inconspicuous benefits, profound benefits, which are not immediately visible. It pertains to a person's spiritual life or to the true value of human life. It refers to higher goals, which act as a surety when one passes away from this world, or are a guarantee from obtaining superior blessings, superior gains, greater than one normally realizes in the world. These benefits include spiritual development and the increase of virtuous qualities, an interest in moral conduct, meritorious deeds, the cultivation of goodness, the actions based on faith and relinquishment, a confidence in the power of virtue, tranquility and mental ease, the experience of refined happiness, and the exceptional attributes of jhana. Originally, the supreme benefit of awakening was also included in this term. A person who realizes these benefits is released from an attachment to material things. One does not overvalue these things to the point of grasping onto them, succumbing to them, or allowing them to be a cause for doing evil. Instead, one gives value to virtue, acts with a love of truth, cherishes a good quality of life, and delights in spiritual development. Reaching this stage produces results that can be used in conjunction with mundane benefits, dita dhammikata, and which support oneself and others. For example, instead of using money for seeking essential pleasures, one uses it to assist others and to enhance the quality of one's life. 3. Paramata, supreme benefit, the true essential good. This refers to the highest goal, the final destination, realization of the truth, a thorough knowledge of the nature of conditioned phenomena, non-enslavement by the world, a free, joyous and spacious mind, an absence of oppression by personal attachments and fears, an absence of defilements which burn and corrupt the mind, freedom from suffering, a realization of internal happiness, which is completely pure and accompanied by perfect peace, illumination and joy. In other words, this refers to liberation, vimiti, to nibbana. The Buddha acknowledged the importance of all the aforementioned benefits or goals, recognizing that they are connected to an individual's level of lifestyle, profession, surroundings, and proficiency, readiness and maturity of spiritual faculties. From the passage cited above, however, it is evident that according to Buddhism, all people should reach the second stage of benefits or goals. It is good to have attained present immediate benefits, but this is insufficient. One should not rest here. One should progress and realize at least some aspects of profound spiritual benefits. A person who has obtained the first two levels of benefits, or has reached the first two goals, is praised as a pandita, a person who lives wisely, whose life is not meaningless and void. The Buddha gave comprehensive practical teachings on how to reach all of these benefits. On some occasions, he gave a teaching on how to obtain four kinds of immediate visible benefits. 1. Attana sampada, perseverance, to know how to apply wisdom to manage one's affairs. 2. Araka sampada, to know how to protect one's wealth and possessions so that they are safe and do not come to harm. 3. Kalyana mittata, to associate with virtuous people who support one's spiritual practice and development. 4. Samadhivita, to lead a balanced livelihood, to be happy without needing to live lavishly, to keep one's income greater than one's expenditures, to maintain savings, to economize. Similarly, he gave a teaching on how to obtain four kinds of profound spiritual benefits. 1. Saddha sampada, to possess faith based on reason and in line with the Buddhist teachings, to be deeply inspired by the Triple Gem, to believe in the law of karma, to be anchored in something virtuous. 2. Sila sampada, to be endowed with moral conduct, to live virtuously and to make a living honestly, to maintain a moral discipline that is suitable for one's way of life. 3. Khaga sampada, the accomplishment of relinquishment, to be generous and charitable, to be ready to help those in need, 4. Panya Sampada, to live wisely, to know how to reflect on things, to apply discriminative knowledge, to fully understand the world, to be able to detach the mind from unwholesome states according to their circumstances. In regard to the supreme benefit or goal, Paramattha, because it is so difficult to understand and to realize, and also because it is the unique factor distinguishing Buddhism from all previous religious doctrines, it is natural that the Buddha gave it great emphasis. There are teachings by the Buddha on the supreme goal spread throughout the Tipitaka, and similarly in this text, Buddha-Dhamma, this theme has been touched upon frequently. As for the first two levels of benefit, they have been adequately taught by Buddhist scholars and teachers throughout the ages. The first level of mundane immediate benefits has been taught to lay Buddhists as is suitable to their particular time period and location. Buddhists have readily adopted any teaching in this context that is effective and does not lead to a deviation from the middle way. Lay Buddhists themselves were able to elaborate on and adapt these practices as is appropriate to their circumstances. In the above sutta passage, the Buddha emphasizes the quality of heedfulness, appamada, as a factor which helps to realize all of the aforementioned benefits. Appamada can be defined as an absence of indifference, passivity or neglect, attentiveness, diligence and ambition, being well prepared and vigilant, hastening to do that which should be done, adjust that which should be adjusted, and do that which is good. A heedful person knows that diligence is a fundamental spiritual quality which leads to both immediate and future benefits. There is the added stipulation here that heedfulness must be firmly established on the association with virtuous people, on having good friends, and on involving such people in one's activities. Moreover, the Buddha explains heedfulness here to mean diligence in regard to wholesome states, to engaging in virtuous activities and performing meritorious deeds, punya kriya. The term punya kriya provides an interesting link to a related subject. When the Buddha on certain occasions spoke about secondary benefits or goals, he reduced his emphasis in relation to the supreme goal. When the focus of the teaching was lowered to one of the secondary goals, the level of practice that he recommended was also lowered or relaxed. This is the case not only in specific isolated circumstances, it is also true when he presented general wide-ranging systems of practice. We see this in a teaching the Buddha gave in reference to these 3 stages of benefits. Here, instead of the practice being formulated according to the gradual teaching of the threefold training of Sila, Samadhi and Panya, as is usual in those teachings focusing primarily on the supreme goal, the system of practice is restructured as the general teaching referred to as meritorious action, punya kriya, or the basis of meritorious action, punya kriya vatu. In this teaching there are likewise 3 factors, but with different names. They are as follows. 1. Dana, giving, relinquishment, generosity. The reasons for giving are various: to help others who are poor, destitute, or in need, to show goodwill in order to create trust, establish friendship, and develop communal harmony, and to honor virtue by praising, encouraging, and supporting good people. The things given are also various: personal possessions, material objects, and requisites for sustaining life, technical knowledge, advice, guidance on how to live one's life, or the gift of Dhamma, the opportunity to participate in wholesome activities, and the gift of forgiveness, abhayadana. 2. Sila, virtuous conduct and earning one's living honestly, moral discipline and good manners. The main emphasis here is not harming others and living together peacefully by maintaining the 5 precepts, not killing or injuring other beings, not violating other people's property or possessions, not violating those who are cherished by others, not offending others by dishonoring them or destroying their families, not harming or undermining others by wrong or offensive speech, and not causing trouble for oneself by taking addictive drugs which impair mindfulness and clear comprehension, spiritual qualities that act as restraints, preventing harm and preserving virtue. In addition to the 5 precepts, one may undertake a training in abstaining from certain luxuries and pleasing sense objects, and living simply and being less dependent on material things by keeping the 8 or 10 precepts at suitable times. Alternatively, one may undertake various forms of public service and assistance, vaya 3. Bhavana, cultivation of the mind and of wisdom, to undergo mental training in order to develop virtuous qualities, to strengthen and stabilize the mind, and to generate wisdom, which truly discerns conditioned phenomena, to have a correct worldview or perspective on life. The cultivation referred to here is of both concentration and wisdom, which in the threefold training is distinguished as Samadhi Bhavana, or Chitta Bhavana, and Panya Bhavana. Here the distinction between these 2 is not emphasized, and they are thus combined as a single factor. This factor encompasses a wide range, including right effort, Samavayama, the effort to abandon mental defilements and to nurture wholesome qualities, which is part of the Samadhi group in the Eightfold Path, on both right view, Samadhiti, and right thought, Samasankappa, especially the cultivation of loving kindness, the source of both personal and social well-being, which are part of the wisdom group in the Eightfold Path. Practices recommended in the scriptures for developing this combination of concentration and wisdom include seeking wisdom and clearing the mind by listening to the Dhamma, Dhamma Savana. This includes reading Dhamma books, reciting or teaching the Dhamma, discussing the Dhamma, revising or correcting one's beliefs, views, and understanding, developing loving kindness, and general methods of restricting and subduing mental defilements. It is evident that when the Buddha altered the focus of his teachings to more basic aspects of life, or to secondary spiritual achievements, he adjusted the way one should live one's life, or the system of Dhamma practice accordingly. In this simple system practice, he emphasized physical and verbal actions, human interactions, and social relationships, which are easy to observe. The 2 factors of generosity, dana, and virtuous conduct, sila, focus on mental development and refinement through the use of basic external actions as the means of practice. One applies these 2 factors in order to eliminate coarse defilements. Practice on the levels of concentration or the higher mind, adhicitta, and of wisdom or higher wisdom, adhipanya, on the other hand, deals directly with internal spiritual matters and is both subtle and difficult. This system of meritorious action, punya kriya, does not emphasize this level of practice, and thus combines these 2 factors. Moreover, it points out less refined aspects of concentration and wisdom, which can be practiced and developed in everyday life. Later generations of Buddhist teachers have tended to use this teaching on meritorious action as appropriate for lay people. The system of the threefold training is the standard system and encompasses the entire Buddhist practice. The Bhikkhu Sangha, which symbolizes a community applying the complete model of practice, should act as the leader in undertaking the system of the threefold training. Besides dividing benefits or goals atta vertically as described above, the Buddha also classified benefits horizontally, in order of a person's responsibilities or in order of social interactions. Here too it is a threefold division. Monks, suppose there is a lake whose water is unmuddied, clear and pristine. A person with good eyesight standing on the bank could see snails, clams, stones, pebbles and shells of fish swimming or stationary in that lake. Why is that? Because the water is not cloudy. Just so, a monk whose mind is unclouded understands his own benefit, the benefit of others, and the benefit of both. It is possible for him to realize excellent states surpassing those of ordinary people, that is, knowledge and vision, jnana dasana, which is capable of leading to awakening. Why is that? Because his mind is unclouded. When a person is impassioned with lust, overwhelmed and possessed by lust, when a person harbors hatred, is overwhelmed and possessed by hatred, when a person is bewildered through delusion, overwhelmed and possessed by delusion, then he plans for his own harm, for the harm of others, and for the harm of both, and he experiences in his mind suffering and grief. When lust, hatred, delusion has been abandoned, he neither plans for his own harm, nor for the harm of others, nor for the harm of both. When a person is impassioned with lust, harbors hatred, is bewildered through delusion, he will behave badly in body, speech, and mind. When lust, hatred, delusion has been abandoned, he does not behave badly by body, speech, or mind. When a person is impassioned with lust, harbors hatred, is bewildered through delusion, he does not understand as it really is his own welfare, others' welfare, or the welfare of both. When lust, hatred, delusion has been abandoned, he understands as it really is his own welfare, others' welfare, and the welfare of both. Lust, hatred, and delusion cause a person to be blind, visionless, and foolish. They restrict wisdom, cause affliction, and are not conducive for nibbana. Seeing the harm in lust, in hatred, in delusion, I teach the abandoning of lust, hatred, and delusion. Indeed, this Noble Eightfold Path, that is, right view, right concentration, is the path, is the way of practice to abandon lust, hatred, and delusion. Monks, considering personal well-being, you should accomplish it with care. Considering others' well-being, you should accomplish it with care. Considering the well-being of both, you should accomplish it with care. Here are definitions for these three kinds of benefits. Atta. 1. Atta ta. Personal benefits, the realization of personal goals, that is, the three goals atta mentioned earlier, which have to do with oneself, which are accomplishments specific to an individual. This factor emphasizes self-reliance at every stage of spiritual practice, so as not to be a burden on others or a hindrance to the community. Instead, one is fully prepared to help others and to engage in activities effectively. The mainstay for realizing this benefit is wisdom. There are many teachings for achieving this benefit. For example, the 10 virtues which make for protection, Natta Karana Dhamma, virtues which make for self-reliance. Broadly speaking, this factor refers to bringing the practice of the threefold training to completion in regard to personal responsibilities. 2. Paratta, the benefit of others, fostering self-reliance in others, helping others to realize well-being or to achieve spiritual goals. That is, the three goals Atta mentioned earlier, which have to do with other people, which are accomplishments of those apart from oneself. The mainstay for realizing this benefit is compassion. The teachings promoting this benefit include the four principles of service, Sangaha Vatu, and the teachings on the responsibilities of a virtuous friend, Kalyana Mita. 3. Utbhayata, benefit of both parties or the shared benefit, the three goals Atta mentioned earlier, which are realized by both oneself and others, or by oneself and one's community. For example, advantages accrued by way of shared belongings or by way of communal activity. In particular, this benefit refers to a social environment and way of life that is conducive for all members of a community to practice in order to realize personal benefits and to act for others' benefit. The mainstays for realizing this benefit is moral discipline, Vinaya, and communal harmony, Samagi. The teachings relevant to this subject include the 6 virtues conducive to communal life, Saraniyadhamma, the 7 conditions of welfare, Aparihaniyadhamma, along with general teachings on necessary conduct supportive to society. These 2 triads of benefits or goals Atta can thus be combined as a single group. 1. Atta, personal benefit can be divided into 3 levels. A. Dittadhamikata, immediate benefit, basic or visible goals. B. Samparayikata, future benefit, higher or profound goals. C. Paramatta, supreme benefit, highest goal. 2. Parata, the benefit of others can be divided into the same 3 levels. A. Dittadhamikata, immediate benefit, basic or visible goals. B. Samparayikata, future benefit, higher or profound goals. C. Paramatta, supreme benefit, highest goal. 3. Utbhayata, the benefit of both oneself and others, or collective goals, every sort of benefit or objective, according to the 3 levels above, immediate, future, and supreme, that is supportive for developing and realizing personal well-being and well-being of others. This section pertaining to the various benefits of life is naturally linked to previous section on living the holy life. We can thus recapitulate the meaning of the holy life, brahmacharya, or Buddhist conduct, charya. Thus, a system of spiritual practice based on an understanding of natural truths, which is conducive to fulfilling worthy aspirations of human life, which fosters both a way of life and a social environment supportive of realization. In short, it is a way of life based on truth, leading to worthy goals and nurturing a healthy environment for realizing these goals.